You to check out is a track called Colors, spelled your way, not mine. Okay.
The correct way.
Yeah,
Excellent.
exactly. One might say that if they live on a certain side of a large body of water. Uh,
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of yes, your Audiophiles, mate. My name's John. His name's Andy. Thank you to the Lord who created all this. There's a whole lot of hurt before you get to the bliss. Why, even Jesus Christ was betrayed by a kiss, but that was long before that he got in showbiz. Well, I understand the land, and the land ain't no sea, but when I try to walk, I'm sinking, you see. More on that later. But first, we've got a song to listen to. Andy, what have you got for us all?
well, I've got a band that has come up oftentimes when we're discussing the bios of other bands when we get to that stage of episodes. And the band that I'm talking about is a band called Grouplove. Now, outside of my allusions to them in prior episodes, are you familiar with them at all? Their works?
No.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, the track by this band I'd like you to check out is a track called Colors, spelled your way, not mine. Okay.
The correct way.
Yeah,
Excellent.
exactly. One might say that if they live on a certain side of a large body of water. But yeah.
Or spoke English in any way, yes, they would.
Okay, then yes, let's listen to Call Out.
As opposed to color.
Yeah, colors. Uh, but yeah, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this track. So please go off and give it a listen and come back.
Will do, mein Capitan.
Yeah, I am a man, up in the air. And I run around this town and act like I don't care. So when you see me flying by the planet's moon, you don't need to explain if everything's changed, just know I'm just like you.
It sounds extremely familiar. Have I heard this before? I'm not sure, but it does sound really familiar. I'm getting sort of Modest Mouse vibes. Moon and Antarctica sort of period, I think. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Nice guitar.
So I pull the switch inside my head, and I see black, green, and brown, and blue, yellow, violets, red. And suddenly a light appears inside my brain, and I think of my ways, I think of my days, and know that I have changed. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. It really ain't that bad. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. You've still got your hand. So mistress, how
Okay, yeah, this sounded really good actually. That I swear to God I've heard it before. I don't think I have heard this song, but it reminds me of other stuff. Yeah, I like that guitars that are coming in, and then in the verse where he it's a selective repetition of just certain words, but it kind of makes the whole thing bounce along, and the beat's really nice as well. And then we got to that was the chorus. Really nice splashy drums, and just the whole thing's really moving at this point. It's nice. And the second vocal line that comes in for it was just like the last two lines, I think, of the verse. Again, just adds a little bit more of the dynamics to it. It's nice, yeah.
Have you been up to the roof? He shot himself, self-dead, blood on the wall, 'cause he couldn't face the truth. Oh, knock that down, leave the ground and find some space, and tell your friends, you'll be back again, before it's too late. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad, it really ain't there.
Nice climbing guitar, drum fill, and that was really nice there, and the drums getting braver. That was a really nice sort of whack-a-mole fill, which panned across as well, which is really nice, and then that sort of stutter fill at the end. It's screaming at the end of certain things, this wail, which I hate to bring it up, but it's the law. I have to. It kind of reminds me of Black Francis a bit. There you go.
To be sad, it really ain't that bad. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. You still got your
Pixies!
So I am a man up in the air, and I float around this town, and no, I shouldn't care. So when you see us there out in the open road, you don't need to explain if everything's changed, just know that you don't know. We call it life, oh yeah, that's what we call it. When we can't call it at all, yeah, we call it life, oh yeah, that's what we call it. When you can't call it at all, yeah, we call it life.
That's it on the top.
That's right, we call it
No.
we do it for sweet love.
Sweet love. I'm wondering about this is colours. I don't think it's talking about the Crips and the Bloods. I think it's kind of accepting whatever tribe you belong to, accepting yourself. It's interesting, actually. I started off thinking this sounds Modest Mouse-ish, which I guess it does. And by the end, there's quite a bit of Pixies sort of influence. Not with that breakdown with just the bass and her sort of almost breathing as straight out of Kim Deal's playbook. Really nice. Really nice. Yeah, this is entertaining. I like this a lot, actually. I get the feeling I get more out of it, particularly the lyrics, the more I listen to this, though. But it had a bit of like this feeling of positive affirmation about it. It's just like, be yourself or accept yourself or something like that. That's the feeling I got from it. Yeah. Oh, we've got to find out more. And the only way we can do this, well, not the only way, you can obviously Google it, go on Wikipedia or very many of the websites, but for me, the easiest way and the most enjoyable way is to come back and talk it through with Andy.
All right, welcome back. So, what did you make of Colors by Grouplove, John?
Yeah, it's interesting. First 20 seconds or so, I was concerned that I'd already heard this song because it was so familiar. Turns out as we got further into the song that I hadn't. But that sort of, yeah, I'm a man, 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 up in the air and around, round, 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 and stuff, and all of that was just really familiar, along with that twanging guitar bounce along with a vocal melody. Um, I did have a foggy notion that it reminded me of Modest Mouse, kind of like Moon and Antarctica period, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Or Good News for People Who Love Bad News, that sort of period.
yeah.
But anyway, so we sing along, and then another vocal line joins in for the last two lines of that verse, or so, where it's sort of, I'm just like you. And then we get these, and then with a ha, the drum and the rest of the band are allowed to play in the sandpit as well. And the ha's continue with a stringent beat and some nice kind of, I call it like storm drain guitar. You know, it sounds a bit dirty and a bit down there. Um, so we get the next verse with a same technique of this sort of selective repetition, which gives a sort of pleasing bounce to the
Yeah.
cadence, along with the sort of the rhythmic drums as well. And again, we get these additional vocals for the last two lines. And as he yelps out that last line, something like, I think I know that I've changed, I think he says. I
Mhm.
sense a bit of, and I hate to say this, but I sense some sort of Black Sam Francis being channeled. I know I can't get by more than three reactions without mentioning Pixies, but it's the law. I don't make it up.
It's always your
Um,
Rosetta Stone translating, what you know with this thing that you've just heard and don't know. So I appreciate that.
yeah. So we're into the chorus, which is signposted that it is the chorus by lots of splashy work from the drummer, which sounds great. And he says something about it's the colours you have, no need to be sad, it really ain't that bad. So I don't think we're talking colours as in gangs, we're not going on about the Crips and the Bloods action here. It kind of feels to me more like finding your tribe or your identity and then accepting it in terms of colours. But yeah, interesting. So next verse, same structure again. Drummer is more emboldened. And as we exit this following chorus, we get this nice climbing, dirty riff on the guitar, and he throws in a huge whack-a-mole fill. It's like fucking hitting everything as they're coming up, and it pans left to right and back again across the speakers or earpods, which is really, really nice. And then again we get another one, but it's a stuttered one this time, the fills, which again really pleasing. And then, shock horror, we break for some true Pixies homage with that bass drop down and that vocal sort of straight out of Kim Deal's playbook. Yeah, I love that, and it made me laugh out loud as well. But it really was so Pixies. And then goes back into the next verse, and he even then starts singing something about float around, 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 and I'm thinking float on here. It's all these things are pinging, Modest Mouse. I mean, he doesn't sound like Modest Mouse, but anyway.
Yeah.
So then, following it feels like it's only half a verse. I'm probably wrong here, but it feels like it wasn't as long as the other verses. It then goes into this kind of bridgy section, which is different to all the rest of the song. And they hit this really nice groove with the acoustic guitar and the drums, again reminding me of the P word. And they get this groove and they do it for a few bars. And then he says something about we call it, and we get these addition of these really bright notes. I believe it's like keys or a synth or something. It's just, again, so unexpected and musically a surprise because nothing happened before anything like that and no indication it was coming. But it really works well. And then they end on this sort of, I'm not comical, but this sort of almost hackneyed sort of stretchy vocals, we call it Sweet Love, which is a really nice way of ending as well. I really enjoyed this. It was fun to listen to, and all the musical references that I either heard or imagined. But to me, I didn't catch a lot of the lyrics, but it sounded to me like almost like a positive affirmation song about, be yourself, accept yourself. Everyone else can
Exactly.
do what kind of thing. That's what I got from it. But yeah, I really like this, and it was kind of familiar, but I think it was just familiar from where it came from,
Yeah.
rather than I don't think I heard this before. But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Awesome, awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed this one. I was kind of torn about which one to give you, and I think I'm glad that I chose this. There are some others that may even appear on the channel at some point, but this sounds like it was a good introductory song to the band for you to give a listen
Can I
to.
just,
Yeah.
sorry, can I just ask, when was this?
I will get into that, but it's definitely the 20, like the early 20 teens.
Right.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So let's get into the group love and discuss them and the song. So they are an American alternative rock band formed in 2009 by Christian Zucconi, lead vocals, rhythm guitar, Hannah Hooper, lead vocals, keyboards, Sean Gadd on bass, Andrew Wesson, lead guitar, backing vocals, and Ryan Rabin on drums. The latter of whom produced the band's self-titled debut extended play in 2010, which was originally released independently but later re-released by Atlantic Records following the success of its single Colors. So there you go, 2010. So when it originally came out, it was re-released later. Um, so Grouplove is perhaps best known for their 2012 single Tongue Tied, which peaked at within the top 50 of the Billboard Hot 100 and received quintuple platinum certification by the Recording Industry Association of America. Quintuple is quite a lot from what I understand.
Hmm.
So to go platinum 5 times on the track. It preceded the release of their debut studio album, Never Trust a Happy Song, from 2011, which entered the Billboard 200. As of 2024, Grouplove has released 6 studio albums and 2 EPs. So a moment ago, I mentioned that this song was re-released. It was re-released on Never Trust a Happy Song. So to the masses
Gotcha.
and to most of us, we heard this in 2011 probably, or 2012. So
Yeah.
Grouplove formed out of a friendship among among the 5 members of the band. Hooper met Zucconi on the Lower East Side of Manhattan after hearing music from his former band, Aloke, Aloke. Despite having just met, Hooper invited Zucconi to an artist residency in Crete. She was leaving for later that week, so they really sped up their
Wow. And that's something that's quite a fancy retreat as well, Crete. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, Crete for this, and it's very music centric too, which is an interesting. I didn't even know they had these things, so this is definitely above my tax bracket. Um, it was at the Icarus Artists Commune in the village of Avdu, where they met the rest of the band, Andrew Wesson and Ryan Rabin and Sean Gadd. Rabin, an accomplished drummer and producer, grew up in the Los Angeles area with Wesson, a surfer and guitarist. Rabin comes from a musical family. His father is Trevor Rabin, former guitarist of the band Yes. So, Sean Gadd, a songwriter and guitarist from London, was also at the commune. The friendship between the members formed quickly, but the band did not form until a year later after Gadd, Zucconi, and Hooper pulled their funds together and made a trip to Rabin's Los Angeles recording studio. They played their first show at El Cid in Los Angeles on May 10th, 2010. Later that year, the band went on tour with Florence and the Machine on the West Coast, and then The Joy Formidable on the East Coast. These are 2 bands that have either appeared on
mhm.
this channel or Into the Music or both. So interesting. It's a lot of tours with artists that we've discussed, which explains why these
Yeah.
guys have come up in previous reactions. So it was only a matter of time before they would appear on the channel. By November, Nylon Magazine recognized Grouplove as one of the top 10 in the best new bands in 2010. As mentioned earlier, Canvas/Atlantic Records re-released their self-titled EP Grouplove on January 25th, 2011. And in 2011, the band co-headlined a cross-country tour with Foster the People and made appearances at Lollapalooza, Outside Lands, Reading, and Leeds festivals, and Glastonbury. The band released its debut album, Never Trust a Happy Song, on September 13th, 2011, through Canvas and Atlantic Records, and they released 4 singles from the album, one of which was the track that we listened to today, Colors. In support of their debut album, the band went on to headlining a North American Fall Tour and also performed with Two Door Cinema Club, another band that we've discussed, as their main support. In December, the band performed at K-Rock Almost Acoustic Christmas, which takes place at the Gibson Amphitheater in Universal City. On January 3rd, 2012, the band kicked off their sold-out headline tour in Australia at the Factory Theatre in Sydney and continued their tour in Europe in February. The band began their US Spring 2012 tour on March 6th in Burlington, Vermont, in support of Young the Giant. I think that's another group. Have I mentioned Young the Giant to you or you to me in the past?
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard that name
exactly.
somewhere.
So, throughout the sold out headline tour, the band had featured stops at Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival, Sasquatch Music Festival, and Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. Uh, not venues, festivals that we've discussed in the past. Grouplove kicked off their Close Your Eyes and Count to Tour on September 25th, 2012 at the Roslyn Theater in Portland, Oregon, traveling across the country with Alt J. On April 20th, 2013, Grouplove released Make It To Me in collaboration with Manchester Orchestra. They announced their second album as well as debuting the video for the lead single Ways to Go on January 10th, 2013. In September of that year, Grouplove's second album, Spreading Rumors, was released. And on June 19th, 2014, Sean Gadd officially announced his departure from the band. The band played several festivals in 2014, including Bonnaroo, Lollapalooza, Firefly, and Coachella, and headlined the Honda Civic Tour in late August, early September, supporting Portugal the Man. God, I feel like I'm just naming every band I've ever suggested on this channel. Grouplove released their third studio album, Big Mess, on September 9th, 2016. And on April 22nd, 2017, Grouplove released an EP titled Little Mess. As you can probably surmise, the EP was an extension of their full-length album, Big Mess. On March 13th, 2020, the band released its fourth studio album, which featured Benjamin Hamala as the band's new drummer, marking the departure of Ryan Rabin. On March 10th, 2021, Grouplove released the single Deadline, along with the music video for the song. And the band has also made a surprise announcement that their fifth studio album, This Is This, would be released 2 days later on March 12th, 2021. On March 23rd of 23, the band announced their sixth studio album, I Want It All Right Now, and that will be released on July 7th of 2023. The track we listened to today, Colors, reached number 15 on the modern rock charts. The album on which it features, Never Trust a Happy Song, was fairly well received. All music journalist Matt Kalla praised the band's musicianship for being technically sound and expressive in its genre mashing, concluding that ultimately Grouplove's Never Trust a Happy Song is a cohesive if ramshackle crowd pleaser for full of melodic double lead vocals, hand claps, one of your favorites, ringing electric guitars, and staccato synth parts that tips a hat to the 80s dance rock while still retaining the band's obvious love of experimental 60s folk rock. David Mencioni of Spin praised the album's production for carrying exuberant energy to match its happy-go-lucky content, saying that for all its youthful pathos, Never Trust a Happy Song evokes pop colors bright enough to glow at a tempo just short of manic. Hugh Jones of Slant Magazine felt the album didn't quite live up to the band's self-titled EP, with adequate lyrics and shoddy song placement derailing its full strength, saying that Never Trust a Happy Song's finer moments arrive when Grouplove is crafting sun-kissed anthems that deserve to be blared across beaches, or at least from the speakers of any open-top car en route to the shore. So I think it was more on like song placement and arrangement on the album than it was of their actual sound. But you're really splitting hairs there, Hugh Jones. So let's jump into these lyrics. I am a man, up in the air, and I run round this town, and act like I don't care. So when you see me flying by the planet's moon, you don't need to explain it. Everything's changed. Just know I'm just like you. Huh. Ha. Huh. Ha, that repeats 2 more times. So I pull the switch, the switch, the switch inside my head, and I see black, black, green, and brown, 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 and blue, yellow, violets, red. And suddenly a light appears inside my brain, and I think of my ways, I think of my days, and I know that I've changed. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. It really ain't that bad. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. You still got your hands. So, mistress, mistress, have you been up on the roof? He shot himself, self. There's blood on the wall, 'cause he couldn't face the truth. Oh, knock that down, leave the ground and find some space, and tell your friends you'll be back again, before it's too late. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. It really ain't that bad. Instrumental break. Whoa, it's the colors you have. No need to be sad. It's really ain't that bad. It's the colors you have. No need to be sad. You've still got your hands. So I am a man, up in the air, and I float around, round this town, and no, I shouldn't care. So when you see us there out in the open road, you don't need to explain if everything's changed. Just know that you don't know. Well, we call it life. Oh, yeah, that's what we call it. We call it all. Yeah, we call it life. Oh, yeah, that's what we call it. When you can't call it at all. Yeah, we call it oh. That's right. We call it oh. We do it for love, sweet love. So, yeah, I think you're right. It is about not becoming depressed by maybe what made you who you are and how you got to where you are, and how all these things are just the different colors that make up who you are. So yeah, kind of anthemic in that regard. And you picked up on it pretty well there. So thank you so much for giving this a listen, John. I'm glad you enjoyed this track by Grouplove. Thank you so much, sir. Folks out there in the listening audience, please let us know what you made of this track, this band. If there's other stuff by them that we should listen to, I'm sure there is. Please give us a shout down below. If you are like John and caught shades of other acts that you've heard before that weren't listed, please give them a shout down in the comments field. Also, while we have your attention, please like, share, and subscribe if you'd be so inclined. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully, John and I will catch all y'all in growing numbers on the next installment of the Audiophiles. We'll see you later, guys.